Welcome to another episode of the Immuno Labs Podcast. First, make sure you click the subscribe button. That helps boost our videos in the algorithm. Not only will you be able to see more of our videos as they come out, but then other people who have an interest in how to reduce inflammation, feel great every day, and just improve their quality of life will be able to see these videos as well. So if you're imagining your gut as a bustling city, filled with trillions of microbes, when this city runs smoothly, you feel energized, healthy, and strong. But when it's out of balance, you may feel fatigued, inflamed, and sick. So the question becomes, what area of the city is having that problem, right? So today we're going to explore how your gut health influences your energy, immunity, and how well you age. First is your gut and energy. So there's fascinating studies that were done in this. One of them that I found the most impactful was a study that was done with rats, where they actually took fecal matter from rats that were, overweight and had other, issues, and they inserted that. I know this sounds odd, but they inserted the fecal matter from that obese rat into a skinnier rat. And then they tried to find out what's going to happen to that rat. Will it continue to be skinny because of its habits and the things that it does? Or is it going to then start having the same issues that the other rat had? What they found out is that when they changed that fecal matter from one rat into the other, that rat, even though it had the proper habits, all of a sudden it starts to change and now it starts to become more obese. So this was a fascinating study to find out how impactful our microbiome is on our overall health. The biggest takeaway from this one is that feeding the wrong microbes, it's like fueling junk food factories in your gut. So imagine that city, and now it's no longer this beautiful green landscape, but instead you've now torn down a lot of these healthy buildings, and they put in these big factories with their smog towers and whatnot. So that's starting to create an issue for your energy levels. So what about fitness and microbiomes? Well, the mice that received microbiomes from the fit lean donors became leaner and healthier themselves. The right microbiome mixture can improve metabolism, energy, and fat storage. So we've gone through our gut and energy. And then we talked about our gut and fitness and how much it can impact us, especially in that fecal transplant between the two rats. Next is our gut and immunity. 70% of your immune system actually lives in your gut. So this is once again another reason why it's not just about having great energy and being fit, but really this is for your overall health that you can make improvements on. The beneficial bacteria help defend against harmful invaders and reduce inflammation. Harmful bacteria and fungi like Candida can trigger immune dysfunction. So once again, if you have an elevation of Candida, it's very opportunistic. It's going to once again be in that city where it's going to take over that whole area, tear down these buildings like an acid rain falling on the city, and instead start to proliferate all this Candida is going to continue to wreak havoc on your gut microbiome. And this is going to also make an impact in your longevity. So as we age, we lose gut diversity and gain inflammation. This is called inflammaging, right? So not inflammation, but inflammaging. A healthy, balanced gut microbiome can help reduce chronic inflammation and support graceful aging. So what are we going to do about that Candida, right? So if we do have an issue or creating this inflammation in our gut and Candida is starting to take over, what can someone do that's going to help reverse that? Well, there's another fascinating study that was done. This one was with mice instead of rats, and they found out that Candida is like unwanted graffiti in your gut city. And the mouse study showed that if you simply just eat coconut oil, you can reduce your Candida by over 90%. So not all hope is lost, and it doesn't have to be some crazy medication that you take to make this reversal in your gut health. If you think that you have done something that's kind of wreaked havoc on your gut, what could you do to kind of start bringing it back? It's just as simple as, I guess Mary Poppins said, a spoonful of sugar, but in this situation, replace the sugar with the coconut oil, and you can start to eradicate 90% of the Candida in your gut. So what are some daily habits that you can do? What are things that's outside of just the coconut oil that can really help you improve your gut health to ensure that our gut city is operating as well as it can, is being taken care of properly? First is having a diet that has fiber-rich foods. So think of this like you're planting parks in a city, right? You're having recreational areas, areas there can be oxygen, nutrients, and abundance. This is going to boost the microbiome diversity. Also, food sensitivities. Find out what your inflammatory foods are so you can remove those. Think of those of like toxic spills. There's stuff that's going to start creating more havoc in your gut microbiome, that gut city that you have. Hydration is critical. Got to sure the plumbing is going to the right place, everything's flowing, all the water and whatnot's needed for that park is being properly provided to it. After that, we have exercise. Think of that as like the maintenance crew in your city. And last, but not least is sleep and stress. From all this in your gut microbiome, from hearing about fecal transplant and how much that can impact gut health and your outcomes, to learning about Candida and how you can have coconut oil and sort of the few areas to look into, what are the biggest takeaways that you can have from this? Well, remember that gut health is foundational to energy, immunity, and longevity. There are scientific studies that back the gut's role in metabolism, inflammation, and aging, and small daily choices make a big impact on your internal ecosystem.